Night owls of Reddit, what is the creepiest things you've experienced while everyone else was sleeping? When I was 11, my parents let me stay up in the summertime super late. So it's probably 1 AM. Everybody is asleep. I'm in the living room, no lights on, just the TV. Low volume. Our living room is right by the front door, like most houses. I hear the screen door very quietly and gently creak open, eee. Then very, very gently somebody wiggles the front door knob, it's locked. I'm fucking terrified. I stand up and tippy-toe towards the door, and as I'm doing so I can see a shadow of somebody trying to peek in through the front dining room window. They can't see in because of the curtains, but I can see their silhouette. Then they turn and leave and I look through the door eye hole. Never see their face. Just some guy. Walks down the street and gone. Back in high school, I was watching a movie on the couch with my dad's laptop. Parents, little brother and dog are asleep. Then there was this noise. It was so fucking loud. It sounded like someone threw a chair against a wall in the basement. No one woke up. I grabbed a bat, went downstairs, and not a single thing was out of place. Spooked me good. 2. A couple of years ago, I stayed home with our dog while my parents went on a little trip. It was about 3 AM. The dog woke up and walked to the edge of the bed. He's 13 pounds, and started growling aggressively. There were a couple of lights on, but the house was mainly dark. He jumped off the bed and walked to the doorway and growled like I've never heard him do before. This time I grabbed a billy bat. My dad was a cop, and was instantly ready to fuck someone up. I turned on every light, checked every door/window/room, and there was nothing. A flying roach. I used to share a room with my little sister. It was a huge room and it was really dark and late, like 2 AM. At some point I hear someone clap their hands just once. I froze but didn't do anything. Then all of a sudden I feel 2 hands pushing down in my feet. I ran out of the room all the way to my parents' room downstairs. We came back and my sister was sleeping. She wouldn't have done that anyways, and there was nobody in the room but us. I still can't comprehend. I couldn't sleep one night. Out of nothing I heard like a really loud dog yowl. Blame Google Translate if it's wrong. For a solid 10 seconds downstairs. I live alone and don't own a pet. I've always been a night owl, even as a kid. My dad had a rule that school nights, lights out at 10 PM, but Fridays, Saturdays, vacation days, I could stay up as late as I wanted, usually staying up till 3 AM, sometimes 5 AM. In 1989, when I was 12 years old, my dad bought a house. My first night there, I was in my room playing Nintendo around 2ish in the morning when I heard noises from the other room. I heard the bass of muffled music, people chatting, and pool balls clacking. It was a Saturday night, so I figured my dad had friends over. Then I realize, wait, we don't have a pool table. I step out into the hallway, and of course, all the lights were out. I can hear my dad snoring from his room, but the party noises were still coming from the living room. As I followed the noises, they got clearer and clearer until I was in the thick of it in the middle of the empty dark living room. It was bizarre. If you closed your eyes, you could swear you were at some sort of gathering. It creeped me the hell out at first, but soon found it fascinating. It happened nightly, so over the years, I would stay up and log details of the phenomena. The noises started at exactly 1:48 AM to 4:50 AM late June to late December, 2:03 AM to 5:01 AM the rest of the time, and would repeat nightly. I could pick out specific conversations. Like one woman talking about how she shouldn't smoke while she was pregnant, but it was so hard. Another guy telling a story about a motorcycle accident he had. The music, from what I could gather, was from between 1974 and 1983, as 2 of the songs I could distinctly remember were Stone Cold Crazy by Queen and Any Way You Want It by Journey. There were other songs, but I don't remember what they are since I don't have my old logbook anymore. Ask my dad about this, he would swear he never experienced it. Granted, he slept from 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m., but one would assume he would get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or a late night snack and come across this. Though, when I had friends over for the night, they would experience this phenomenon. I wouldn't tell them about it beforehand because I wanted to know if they'd experience it and make sure I wasn't out of my mind. I even had a few friends stay on weekends to help me log the activity and even identify some of the songs. I ended up moving out of my dad's place when I was 22 years old, and he ended up selling the house a few years later. And 2 years ago, I moved out of state. I kinda miss the place. If I ever won the lottery or something, I'd totally buy it back and see if this creepy thing still happens every night. Maybe get some paranormal investigators on the case. Oh boy, here we go. Given that I already wrote a short story on another post, I'll keep this brief. It is 11 p.m, my girlfriend is laying beside me after I peel her off of me. She hasn't been asleep long and always requires me to be there. So now that she is out, it is time to play Skyrim. After some computer issues, I decide to just go read in the kitchen. I start to hear movement in the driveway beside the kitchen. I was a bit spooked, but I figured it was a large stray cat. About 25 minutes later, I hear human-like footsteps on the roof. I go back to my room and get a gun. I walk outside and look around. Someone put a ladder to the roof and was checking out the chimney. Sadly, my chimney isn't real, it's just a bunch of bricks with no attached fireplace or anything. They look at me, the bolt off of the roof, maybe a 22-foot drop and run. I got a free ladder out of it. I never saw that person again. He wasn't Santa. Edit, this is my most upvoted comment by a landslide and I have no idea why. I put no effort into telling a story, just listed facts. I live across the street from condos that have a very tall wall. Late one night I hear what sounds like an actual bear roaring over at the condos. WTF, right? I open my door and hear the bear roar again, but then I hear a guy yelling and pounding the hell out of someone's front door. He's obviously drunk as hell. Then I hear a gun go off. Then nothing. I called the police as fast as I could. I never heard what happened. I always wonder if he shot someone, if he got shot, or if someone shot and missed. The weird thing was, I never heard any sirens at all. I can't see into the roads that lead into the condos, but I never saw any flashing lights. I was too scared to go and check it out. A 10-year-old could kick my ass. Once, while I still lived with my mom, I was up late putting in job applications and drawing. I heard what sounded like sobbing and stopped what I was doing. I looked over to my younger sister, saw she was passed the hell out, and got slightly unnerved because the sobbing just continued. Left my room to investigate, and ran into my older sister who was also hearing the noise. We checked on our mom and stepdad sound asleep, looked in our brother's room where the noise seemed to be coming from, he wasn't in there, and truly freaked out. Went downstairs to see if maybe our brother had wandered off to cry and the noise had somehow carried through the air vents to his room. Found him asleep on the living room couch, saw the TV was off, in fact, all entertainment electronics were turned off, and checked the time. 3:06 a.m. We didn't sleep the rest of the night, and the sobbing sound continued until about 5 a.m. I was sitting in the living room facing the stairs to my bedroom. I was watching a movie and saw legs coming down the stairs with black suit pants and really shiny black shoes. They stopped coming down the stairs and all I could see was up to their knees. They turned toward me for a few seconds and then slowly went back up the stairs. I was home alone with my 3 dogs. The next morning checked the cameras to make sure I didn't dream it, and you can see myself and my 3 dogs staring at the stairs as the legs come down the stairs and then go back up. I quite like going on late night jogs. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but there's something about running out into the middle of nowhere circa 1 a.m., checking out the stars, having the entire world to yourself, running all the way back and curling up in bed, totally spent. On this particular occasion, I'd worn myself out and was walking back to my apartment. I live in a reasonably good neighborhood, but nearby there are a few sketchy alleyways and generally weird little industrial areas that don't quite feel kosher. As I was passing one of these alleyways, this dude on a skateboard came zipping my way, screaming bloody murder. He held something metallic in his hand, but I was much too nearsighted to make out what it was. I kept walking, figuring that he was just your garden variety skateboarding drunk. But he kept skating faster and coming closer. Exhausted though I was, I decided to run for it. He gave chase. Fortunately enough, a massive hill was right up ahead of me. This gave me a distinct advantage. I could chug my way up the hill and, bewheeled as he was, he couldn't really gain the momentum to catch up with me. He picked up his board and started running, shouting at me all the while, but he didn't appear to be in peak physical condition. I crested the hill, took a few erratic turns into a number of different apartment complexes, and finally weaved my way back home. I spent the next hour or so peering out of my blinds like a film noir detective. I still have no idea what the hell